Today is May 30th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. A Memorial Day edition of the show brought to you by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, and joining us from down in Texas, it's Bob Ramsey. Rammer, what's going on?
Well, I'm in the Republic of Texas. Another beautiful day here, and enjoying the day. Backyard of my wife's aunt and uncle, Bruce and Linda, who always take care of us when we're in Texas, and then my dear friends, and out on their patio on a gorgeous Memorial Day morning.
Looks nice down there, and we have a nice day here in St. Louis for some afternoon baseball. Ramber, this afternoon I'm going to be heading down to the ballpark, and I'm going to be sitting next to my child who's going to be wearing this shirt as the Padres are in town for a three for a 3-game series, and he is really excited to see his Padres take the field at Busch Stadium.
That is really cool. That's really
cool. He won't get to see Fernando Tatis Jr. though. He's bummed about that, as he is still on the shelf. No rehab set for Fernando Tatis Jr. just yet, who suffered the off-season broken wrist. No details really about that at all because it happened during the lockout. So I guess he didn't have to tell anybody what happened with that. But the Padres still coming in a really good team. And Rammer, before we move forward with the Padres, this past weekend against the Brewers, you know what? It was a split. It was a 2 games each split with the series. I have to say, though, the Cardinals played well in 3 of those games. I think the Brewers can only say they played well in 2 of those games.
Yeah, and really the one is game 4 of the series, the Cardinals. It was a stinker. So if you're playing your rival in the division, it seems like they just keep splitting with them. At some point, you got to find a way to beat them, but you're playing as good as the division leader. And I think you're right. Played pretty well. The roster and the lineup is still not exactly how it's going to look in a month or 6 weeks, or when the Cardinals are ready to go for a stretch run. But the pieces I think we're all seeing are kind of falling together. The biggest thing, not unlike last year, is figuring out the pitching staff. Still got a lot of time to do that. And one of the pieces we may be looking at today in Packy Naughton. But I think you're right about the way they played against the Brewers.
Yeah, they move forward now, facing another very, very good team. And Rammer, as we talk about what this roster looks like, I think one of the real keys to it is the fact that Corey Dickerson still getting starts on this team. And even though, Lars Nootbaar not really setting the world on fire either, when he's on the big league club, he seems to be doing just fine down in AAA. But once he gets that call up, something seems to be off with him. We will watch and see. I think this week we'll see rehab assignments for both Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson, and see how they work their way back into the mix with the team.
Well, I was going to say, there's some other factors there, but there will be 2 roster spots. 2 guys on the club now are not going to be there when those 2 guys come back. Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month when they're both back? I don't know. And hopefully the Cardinals stick with the performance matters mantra. And so they need to get it going, whoever they is. You better perform, because Carlson's going to be on the club and he's going to start. And, O'Neill will get every opportunity to win his job back. I'm not saying they're going to hand it to him, but he'll get every opportunity. So there will be a couple of guys now that are big leaguers that won't be.
Let me throw this one out at you too, because we're seeing the Cardinals today having to throw Packy Naughton in a start on a Monday. We already know that that somehow they're going to have to do something else later this week, because they're going to be in Chicago for that doubleheader on Saturday. The White Sox just designated Dallas Keuchel for assignment last year of his contract. Lefty, who back in 2020, I believe, finished fifth in Cy Young voting that year and was had been a very good pitcher with the Astros prior to that. As you look at the AAA team and not really sure what you have as far as major league starters down there, you assume Jake Woodford and Matthew Libator are right now in the rotation. Is Dallas Keuchel a name that you consider for this Cardinal team?
I think you consider it, but and here's our issue, is that recent history tells us scrap heap lefties can be really good if they're given another chance. I don't know if that's Dallas Keuchel. I don't know if he's J.A. Happ or John Lester. Is it worth a look? And I still don't know for sure what the Cardinals think of Woodford. So it's not as much as what we think about what the Cardinals think. And maybe they feel that they need that other lefty. I think it probably does have to be considered, but you and I consider this. His numbers are awful, and we haven't seen him throw. If you or I had seen him throw, we may go, I don't know, but maybe there is something there, like we said, like John Lester.
I want to say I'm pretty sure he started the White Sox game that I went to against the Angels. I'm almost certain that he was the memorable. If it didn't take us an hour to get into the stadium, then maybe I could have sat down. I could have sat down and got out my notepad and possibly looked at that. Yeah, he did start that game, Rammer. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, and a strikeout. So yeah, not really memorable. But I did remember sitting there and be like, oh, Dallas Keuchel starting. He's good. And not looking at what kind of numbers that he had already posted on the season for the team. As I mentioned, though, Packy Naughton starts tonight starts this afternoon for the Cardinals. He goes up against Nick Martinez, a righty for the Padres, who have as you look at their rotation, as you look at their team, possibly they got the Cardinals at the right point in their rotation, because it's Nick Martinez today, Yu Darvish on Wednesday. When you look at the other starters that they have on their team, I believe the other 3 starters are all left-handed. So it's just the lefty throwing tomorrow in Blake Snell. You're going to miss the other 2 lefties this go around with San Diego. And we all know how well the Cardinals do against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, Martinez, though, is a guy you feel like you got to jump. He's been a journeyman. He's never been a starter for a full season. You haven't heard of him. He didn't pitch at all during COVID. He had some very mediocre to, quite honestly, terrible years with the Rangers. This year he's been okay. He doesn't walk too many, but you can slap him around with the bat a little bit. He's like I say, he's a journeyman guy. If he was in the Cardinals organization, would he be getting some starts right now? Yeah, probably. But he's one of those sort of guys. So if your lineup is as good as you think it should be, you should jump this guy. You should put the ball in play against him. And, you hope to see that tonight. Today. You should be loaded with left-handed bats. And that's what I think Ollie should do, and get after it.
Yeah, I think, and what you're seeing is a similar situation to what the Cardinals have going on right now, where they need a break in their rotation. So you're throwing out your, I guess, give or take 6th starter right now, because he definitely is not a top 5 pitcher for this Padres team. It's just everybody is kind of reaching their limit at this point of the season. Need a little break, and I guess use the holiday to give it to both sides.
The other thing, obviously, Manny Machado is worth the price of admission. The other thing is, we're going against Naughton. I haven't seen a starting lineup yet. Luke Voigt,
not out yet.
St. Louis and Luke Voigt ought to be in the starting lineup, and probably as a pinch hitter later, you'll probably see Robinson Cano. So an interesting lineup. Hosmer has been very good for them. Will Myers has been very good for them once he came off the injured list. Even without Tatis, they have a formidable lineup, and it should be a good series.
Yeah, you're going to get to see the top 2 NL MVP candidates going right now in Manny Machado and Paul Goldschmidt. We've all seen what Paul Goldschmidt has been doing in the month of May. Manny Machado's numbers on the season, he is an OPS, as I'm doing this quick math here, of about a little bit over 1,000 right now. 8 home runs on the season with 27 RBIs. What?
Don't do math.
I'm quickly. The app I am using does not have it in there, but he is just he is just tearing it up right now for the Padres. I don't know though. I mean, he has been consistent all year long. What Paul Goldschmidt's done in the month of May, I wonder if we'll find out, I guess, Wednesday or Thursday if he gets named a Player of the Month. When's the last time the Cardinals had back-to-back Players of the Month to start at any point in the season? Different players too, because I mean, Machado's been good. Mookie Betts has been that May one. I mean, Arenado. I was a little surprised Arenado got it in April, though he was really good. But you might see MLB give co-players of the month in the month of May for what Machado's doing, for what Mookie Betts is doing, and what Paul Goldschmidt's doing here in St. Louis.
Yeah, Paul's been as hot as a hitter can be, and all 3 great players. It will be kind of a fun thing to see. I guess we'll learn tomorrow who gets it. The other thing about the Cardinals, going against a right-hander, I said loaded with lefties. We know it's where Tommy Edman struggles a little bit on the left side. Keep repeating. Tell everybody you see at the ballpark today, lay off the alto queso. If Tommy Edman, especially from the left side, lays off the high fastball, he'll destroy him. But he has trouble. So if he does that and leads the way, let those lefties stay off the high cheese. They'll be all right today.
Rammer, have a safe trip back from Texas. Hey, watch, be careful what kind of gifts you're sending out to anybody in your fantasy leagues this week. Just you don't want it to come back and haunt you 8 months later when you run into them down at
I'm going to slap the crap out of people.
And hey, if you are playing in big money fantasy leagues, make sure that you are in good with Royal Banks.
Royal Banks in Missouri. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for the great bankers there. They may tell you don't invest heavily in fantasy baseball. I could be wrong about that, but here's the key. Go to Royal Banks. You can actually talk to a real experienced banker that makes you feel like you're at home, your home bank, ready to work with you to help you achieve your financial goals. Royal Banks, 314-212-1500. It's Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Enjoy the afternoon baseball today. We will be back tomorrow afternoon with another edition of Daily Cards Live, brought to you by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri, right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
At St. Louis Acura, new inventory is arriving daily, both new and pre-owned. Our buying team adds a higher level of personalized service that others can't match. We sell over 100 pre-owned vehicles monthly, and many of these are matched by our buying teams in Missouri and Illinois. As new Acura production ramps up, be one of the lucky ones to try the newest Type S models now available. Performance has never been so stylish and comfortable. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you.